بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ومن يطع الله والرسول فأولئك مع الذين أنعم الله عليهم من النبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين وحسن أولئك رفيقا.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم مصطفى محمد صلى الله عليه وآله أجمعين وأصحابه المنتجبين. أما بعد، قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم: وما كان لرسول أن يأتي بآية إلا بإذن الله لكل أجل كتاب. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Respectable audience, distinguished listeners, honorable viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, God willing, we're going to talk about who is behind the miracle, Almighty Allah or the Prophet, or both of them. Respectable audience and distinguished listeners, there are various kinds of verses in the Holy Quran. Some of those verses of the Holy Quran say that it is Almighty Allah who does the miracle. It is Almighty Allah who gives license or who gives permission to those who perform miracle. Even sometimes the miracle is directly related to Almighty Allah. And sometimes, or in some of those verses of the Holy Quran, the performance of miracle has been ascribed and related to the divine prophets. So, how to deal and how to collect these two types of verses of the Holy Quran? Almighty Allah says, وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا رُسُلًا مِّن قَبْلِكَ وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُمْ أَزْوَاجًا وَذُرِّيَّةً وَمَا كَانَ لِرَسُولٍ أَن يَأْتِيَ بِآيَةٍ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ لِكُلِّ أَجَلٍ كِتَابٍ. Almighty Allah says, prior you, He means the final messenger. He says to the final messenger that prior your emergence, prior your coming in this world, we have had lots of prophets. We have had lots of messengers. They have had children, they have had wives. وَمَا كَانَ لِرَسُولٍ أَن يَأْتِيَ بِآيَةٍ. None of the prophet or none of the messenger was to bring a sign of mine. Sign here means the miracle. None of them was to bring miracle. None of them was to perform miracle. إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ, except by my permission, except by the divine permission. لِكُلِّ أَجَلٍ كِتَابٍ. So this verse of the Holy Quran says that whatever the divine prophets bring under the rubric and theme of miracles, all are to have Almighty Allah's permission beforehand. None of the divine prophet is capable and able to bring or to perform miracle without the divine permission, without taking Almighty Allah's allowance or permission beforehand. So you know that Almighty Allah does not give His miracle to everyone else. When He gives this miracle to the divine prophets, whenever they want to implement, whenever they want to practice that or perform that, again, a particular type of Almighty Allah's permission is needed. You might be reminding this, that we have had this topic in the previous lectures in divine unity and creatorship. We had this discussion that who is the doer of the human beings' actions? It is the human beings that they independently do their actions, or it is Almighty Allah who does these actions. I'm not going to drill, but it is very much closely related to that topic. Here, miracle is not an exception. Miracle is not something to go beyond Almighty Allah's unity in creatorship. No. Almighty Allah's unity in creatorship covers the miracles too. The same when we are speaking from one angle, from one aspect, this is speaking of the human beings, can be related to the human beings as direct agents of performing this action, and from another perspective, the same actions can be related to Almighty Allah being the creator, being the source of strength, being the source of life that in every second He granted us. So, respectable audience and distinguished listeners, we have to pay extreme heed to this subtle point. That miracle, from one side, it can be related to the divine prophets. And on another hand, it can be related to Almighty Allah. As the rest of the human beings' actions can be dealt with the same way. Another example that can be given and offered for you, that is this. That when there is a CEO in a company or in a firm, though he does not do all works, but again the failure in the success of the firm is related to this boss or to this CEO.
إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون.
The miracles are ascribed to Almighty Allah, and sometimes it is ascribed to the divine prophets. As it is said in various verses of the Holy Quran, where the miracles have been related and have been referred to the divine prophets. For example, those verses that we have to study about the miracles that Jesus has brought for the human beings, the Jesus ascribes creatorship to Himself, though it is accompanied with Almighty Allah's permission. In this verse of the Holy Quran, it says, وَرَسُولًا إِلَى بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ أَنِّي قَدْ جِئْتُكُمْ بِآيَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ أَنِّي أَخْلُقُ لَكُم مِّنَ الطِّينِ كَهَيْئَةِ الطَّيْرِ فَأَنفُخُ فِيهِ فَيَكُونُ طَيْرًا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ وَأُبْرِئُ الْأَكْمَهَ وَالْأَبْرَصَ وَأُحْيِي الْمَوْتَى بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ وَأُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِمَا تَأْكُلُونَ وَمَا تَدَّخِرُونَ فِي بُيُوتِكُمْ إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَةً لَكُمْ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. The translation of this verse of the Holy Quran is, and he will be an apostle to the children of Israel, and he will declare, I have certainly brought you a sign from the Lord. I will create for you out of clay the form of a bird. Then I will breathe into it, and it will become a bird by Allah's leave. and I will heal the blind and the leper, and I revive the dead by Allah's leave. And I will tell you what you have eaten and what you have stored in your houses. There is indeed a sign in that for you, should you be faithful. This verse of the Holy Quran explicitly relates the performance of miracle to the divine prophet Jesus. But again, as it was mentioned, performance of the miracle is in need of not only the general will of Almighty Allah, as in every deed there should be the general will of Almighty Allah, but also a particular leave of Almighty Allah should exist. Otherwise, the miracle would not come into being. So what we understand from various verses of the Holy Quran is this, that the agent behind the miracle is Almighty Allah, the first, the foremost. Almighty Allah independently does the miracle. If sometimes the miracles are related to the divine prophets, again, this performance of miracle should be accompanied by Almighty Allah's leave, by Almighty Allah's permission. It means Almighty Allah should give the permission that the divine prophet should do and should perform the miracle. It is not something that it should be at the hand of the divine prophets that they should do or they should accept the suggestions made by the pagans and the disbelievers at any time, at any circumstance. Though it should be kept in mind, if Almighty Allah wills, if Almighty Allah give this leave for the divine prophets, that they should be able to do whatever the disbelievers ask for, they are able to do. In another word, the divine prophets are always receiving the divine blessings as the rest of the human beings receive the divine blessings. But for performance of the miracle, they are in dire need of particular permission and leave of Almighty Allah. Otherwise, they will not be able to perform the miracles. So, to draw a conclusion from this part of our speech, it becomes clear that Almighty Allah can be assumed as an indirect agent of miracle, can be assumed as an indirect operator or performer of miracle. But the divine prophets can be assumed and can be thought, can be believed as direct performer of miracles. So this analysis is in total harmony with what we have said in divine unity in creation. Almighty Allah is alone, Almighty Allah is one in creatorship. So it matters most that we have to take care of these important points. Another important doubt that might raise against the miracle, that is this, that Almighty Allah says in various verses that وَلَن تَجِدَ لِسُنَّةِ اللَّهِ تَبْدِيلًا وَلَن تَجِدَ لِسُنَّةِ اللَّهِ تَحْوِيلًا. On another hand, we understand that cause and effect is one of the divine traditions. It means everything rotates around this tradition, that every effect should enjoy a cause. Or whenever cause comes, effects should exist. The doubt is that on one side we say there is no change, there is no alteration in divine traditions. On another hand, we see that miracle cannot be included in this realm. With cause and effect system, we cannot analyze the miracle. So what we have to do? Why there is a change? Why there is an alteration in divine tradition? Meaning that there is an event, there is an incident, there is a phenomenon. without being subject to cause and effect system, without being subject to cause and effect, without being subordinate to cause and effect. This is the doubt. Or in another word, they say miracle is without the reason. So why there is an event that comes without any reason? Very simple. They say that if everything is with reason, how is this, or how comes it true that the miracles are without any reason? The response to this doubt is this, that we should not restrict the divine tradition to those known reasons. Rather, there are many other unknown reasons that we do not know. Our understanding cannot reach that, but again, they are included under the theme of divine tradition. Once again, how we should claim that the divine tradition is inclusive of only the known reasons? How we claim this? We should give this probability, we should give this possibility that the divine tradition is inclusive of all those unknown reasons or unknown causes that yet we have not understood them. So by this justification, we can respond to these people that miracle is not without any reason. Yes, miracle is without the known reasons. You might not know or understand fully the reasons, but it does not necessarily imply or connote that it should be existent without any reason. No, it does have reasons. It does have causes, but those causes and reasons we are not aware of. Otherwise, no event, no incident, no phenomenon can exist in this world without any cause. We cannot undermine the general philosophical and rational rule of cause and effect. No. Cause and effect rule and law is at its place and position. We should not limit it. We should not say that there is an exclusion, and that is the miracle. Miracle, or this rule does not cover miracle. No. Miracle is subject and subordinate to this general and universal rational law that every cause and effect should exist there. Every cause should be accompanied with its effect.
لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون والله الخالق البارئ المصور.
The truth of the matter is that sometimes these causes and reasons are known for us, and sometimes they are not known for us. So miracle is of the second type. The causes and the reasons, the nature of it is coming into being is not known for us. So due to this, Almighty Allah equips His exclusive servants, the divine prophets, with this important weapon that no other one should have access to. Otherwise, if all had access to the miracles, there would have been many or a huge amount of pseudo-prophets. While it is something against the divine tradition, Almighty Allah does not want to give His sign to everyone's hand. A very important point, let me remind you, dear listeners, that Almighty Allah does not talk with the term of mu'jiza or miracle. Almighty Allah always talks of sign. Whenever Almighty Allah talks about the miracles, about the extraordinary events and incidents being a very valid sign in the hands of the prophets, Almighty Allah does not talk of miracles. Rather, Almighty Allah talks of signs. S-I-G-N, signs. Almighty Allah talks of signs, that I do not give my signs, or no prophet is there to bring my signs or to show my signs except by my permission. Why? Because if Almighty Allah had given the signs, I mean the mu'jiza or miracle to everyone else, to everyone's hand, so they could mislead the people, they could deceive the people, they could derail the people from the straight path. But Almighty Allah's will is not this, that people should be deceived in great scale and scope. Another important doubt that has been raised against miracle, that is that sometimes the disbelievers or the pagans came near the prophet and they were asking, they were requesting for miracle. But the divine prophets did not accept their request at any time, at any circumstance. What is the reason? The reason behind this is that sometimes the pagans were willing, were requesting miracles, but in the midst of their hearts, they were still stubborn, they were still obdurate to believe in the new revelation. They knew that this miracle is something clear, it is a clear-cut sign that they are connected with Almighty Allah, with supernatural world. But again, they wanted miracles for fun. They wanted miracles for entertainments. Oh, divine prophet, bring us this miracle. So in such circumstances, the divine prophets were not responsible and were not to give positive response at any illogical and irrational request they made. Rather, the time that it was very much serious, or they were seriously asking the divine prophet that they have to make it sure that they are really the prophets, at that time the divine prophets were bringing miracles. But at the rest of the times, or whenever the divine prophets thought that they are making fun of this miracle, the divine prophets negated or refused to bring miracles. This is also very much important, that the people should be wholeheartedly ready, that if the divine prophets could win their trust, they should believe in. Otherwise, there is no use of miracle. The most important usage of miracle is to verify the honesty of the divine prophets. Moreover, of course, miracle does not work. And moreover, the people should not ask every now and then that the divine prophets should bring them miracles. That makes no sense. Another important doubt that today, God willing, we are going to touch, and this is the final problem or doubt that we raise in this respect, that is, that sometimes it might be asked that, okay, miracle or extraordinary events verify one's communication with supernatural world, not necessarily with divinity or with Almighty Allah. How do you respond this doubt? We say that Almighty Allah is all-wise. An all-wise creator does not do the things which violate, that should run counter to its objectives or to his objectives. Almighty Allah does not give the miracle to the hands that it should be misused. And due to this, Almighty Allah does not give His miracle for the people who intend to misuse the miracle. So for sure, miracle should signify one's communication with the Lord. But how to differentiate between miracle as an extraordinary event and those of other extraordinary events? We have said in the first session that we have to be precise in our definition of miracle. Miracle is not only an extraordinary event, but also it should be accompanied by challenge. It means it should challenge other people. And thirdly, it should not receive its response. It should remain unchallenged. It should not find its response. Never ever. And finally, it should be accompanied with one's claim of prophecy. If an extraordinary event does not meet all these terms and conditions, they cannot be labeled as miracle. There are some extraordinary events from the Imam's side, so they cannot be called miracle. Theologically talking, they are called karama. Or for example, the things that have been done by Mary, the mother of Jesus, alayhi salam. So that cannot be called miracle, because she did not claim to be prophet. So all these terms and conditions are put by the theologians to draw distinct or dividing line between miracles and those of other extraordinary events and incidents. So the final response that should be given to these people, that how we have to verify one's communication with Almighty Allah rather than supernatural world, we said that Almighty Allah is all-wise creator, and all-wise creator does not do the things that should run counter to His objectives. So finally, Almighty Allah does not give His miracle, or does not enable the people to have access to miracles so that the people should be misled. Almighty Allah does not give this permission. If there are some people that they claim that their works are extraordinary or their works are miracles, we should find and we should have precise understanding and definition of miracle, and then we have to evaluate whether his is miracle or not. But as long as we understand there is not miracle but with these 3 and 4 conditions and terms, the rest of the things can be called as an extraordinary event, but not necessarily miracle. So, respectable audience and distinguished listeners, this was what we have provided for you. In order to summarize what we have said in this particular session, we say that who is behind the miracle? Who does or who performs miracle? We say that on the one hand, it can be referred to Almighty Allah, for everything rotates around Almighty Allah's will and pleasure. This is first. As we said in the previous lectures too, that Almighty Allah's unity and creatorship necessitates that everything should be related to Almighty Allah. On the other hand, we say that miracle sometimes can be related to the divine prophets. أَنِّي أَخْلُقُ لَكُم مِّنَ الطِّينِ كَهَيْئَةِ الطَّيْرِ فَأَنفُخُ. All these pronouns are the first pronouns. It means they are not for the third person nouns. All these pronouns explicitly mean that it was the Jesus who did all these extraordinary events. But again, all of them are accompanied by Almighty Allah's leave and permission. So the divine prophets can perform miracles provided Almighty Allah's permission. provided having Almighty Allah's leave. This is first. Secondly, we say that there are many doubts raised against miracle. For example, some say that you were talking about the universal law of cause and effect, and miracle is standing outside this universal law. We said no, miracle is not standing outside this universal law. Rather, we should have a precise interpretation of the causes and effects. We should not think that cause are only the known cause. No, there are causes that we do not know. So miracles enjoy those unknown causes. Thus, miracle does not go beyond this realm. And finally, we touched that Almighty Allah does not give His miracle to everyone else's hand. For Almighty Allah is all-wise and all-knowing and all-merciful. He does not like that through miracle the rest of the human beings should be misled. May God bless you and us all His eternal paradise in the life hereafter. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
اللهم انفعنا بالعلم وزينا بالحلم وجملنا بالعافية وكرمنا بالتقوى إن وليي الله الذي نزل الكتاب وهو يتولى الصالحين.